G'day and welcome to another Carnage House production. Wherever you are, locked away. If you're Harry Potter, underneath the stairs. If you are Jason Sarie and you are in the Carnage House, we welcome you nonetheless. Jason Sarie, great to have you back. You were one of our first guests.
Yeah.
We've definitely increased the production value, but the quality of the guest remains the same. Absolutely impeccable.
Man.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Mate, thank you for having me. I missed you guys. Dougie has escaped me again.
Oh, he has.
I'm putting a search out for Dougie.
He's coming in later tonight, so he might.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So hopefully he doesn't interrupt the podcast. You can hear him coming from a mile away, like an elephant running down the stairs. But absolutely fantastic, with or without Dougie. But we got a huge show. We're in the midst of absolute chaos here, and Carnage House production is like kind of the boat in the eye of the storm, just remaining calm and steady, and giving peace and advice out to all the people stuck out there on the water. Jason Sarie, how are you travelling? I mean, it's absolute isolation mode. It is every man for himself at the minute out there. How are you going?
No, 100%. You know, at this stage, I'm completely over it.
Already? So what day are we in officially, really? Kind of day 4?
Day four.
Of proper isolation?
Of proper isolation. I was mentally preparing since about a month ago. Okay? Now, I was supposed to be on the front line of that toilet paper thing. I should have been stocked up by now. But my sister kept on going, oh no, you're overreacting. And then now all these idiots have toilet paper. I have no toilet paper. So that was my first gripe. So that was about a month ago.
Yeah.
Where I was like...
You forecasted, you saw it you saw it happening in slow motion, like a car crash before your eyes.
I was like ready because I had already heard that Wuhan locked down. Wuhan, is that where it was?
Yeah.
Okay, Wu flu. So I'm thinking, they're going to lock this place down. And we need to get on everything, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing about toilet paper. Let's go on toilet paper. The reason why there's no toilet paper on the shelves, it's not because there's no toilet paper. It's because toilet paper is so big that it takes so much shelf space, okay, that it's hard to fill. I used to work at Woolworths, so I know that. Okay, that's a big one. Toilet paper is actually, if you go on a normal time, you'll actually see some spaces of toilet paper because it's so big. Do you get what I mean? Like a Kit Kat, you could have 100 Kit Kats in a space of this big.
Yeah.
But toilet paper, that's one toilet paper like this big.
When they do the big 24 packs.
Exactly. So that's why it looks like it's empty. But really, there's some in the back.
So you just need to bust into the back.
You need to bust into the back.
You need to tap someone on the shoulder and just say, listen, I know there's stuff in the back. You're hiding it from us. There's a national emergency and you're playing silly buggers with the toilet paper.
100%.
Chop. There should be someone at all times stocking the toilet paper. That should be their one job.
But dude, they're taking the piss. And what I'm realizing the more and more I work is how dysfunctional like big businesses are. Because I worked in Woolworths. No offense to Woolworths, yeah? The back is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
The back is like pure carnage, you know? Pardon the pun. But it's honestly crazy at the back.
Yeah.
So, like, they're talking about restocking, but I already know what the problem is, right? They're not working fast enough. That's
right.
it. They have the food in the back. They're just going, oh my God, everyone's coming in. They're annoying us. That's more of the reason. Where's the money? That's what I want to know. That's what I want.
What money?
Why have we paid so much tax and they can't shout us for 3 weeks? That's all I want to know.
Who? The government?
The government. Why can't they shout us for 3 weeks, bro?
Okay, well...
That's what I want to know.
I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. Pardon, but first thing I would say is... at the moment, as far as I can tell, they're rationing the toilet paper. So it's basically... Well, I mean, if you go down to Meadowbank IGA, our local, it's apparently 1 roll per person, I think.
Really?
Yeah. So you walk out and... They check you at the door.
Wow.
Most of the time, when I've been down there, you can't find any bread. But I think it's a lesson in economics, as far as I can tell, because basically these big businesses try to totally reduce the amount of stock that's just sitting there and not moving. Yeah, so like the business, big business, as far as I can tell, will have like almost like a contingency, like 5 or 10% in case the forecasted demand kicks up or more than they're expecting. But the problem is like, if it goes past that threshold, which is what we're seeing now, is that everyone's coming in to buy toilet paper, despite the fact no one's going to the toilet any more than they were 2 months ago.
I am.
You are?
Just quietly. I'm in the house more.
Yeah.
So I've been in that toilet. I live in the toilet, bro. I love toilets, bro. I swear to God, I live in the toilet, bro, because you got your shower and you got the mirror, and I'm in the mirror, you know, like a bit, you know, I work on the moves, dude.
Yeah.
Like the dancing, a bit of shadow boxing in the mirror, you know. And okay, I'm done, bro.
And then, but why? You,
I'm talking shit. I'm talking shit already, bro. And I'm a couple years sober. I swear on my life, and I'm talking like I'm drunk already. So we gotta stop the motion, I reckon.
Okay, all right.
Stop the motion.
We'll pump the
I'm
brakes.
gonna keep on.
We'll pump the brakes.
I'm going, you know.
Okay, so so lessons from that. People in the back aren't working hard enough. Number 2, I would say that they're probably they probably didn't really forecast the intensified demand as they would. I mean, a lot of the time procurement is on kind of a monthly basis. So even if they wanted to kick up the amount of stock that they're holding in the back, it's a question of, do they have enough space, number 1, to do it in the first place? Number 2, are they able to move forward a lot of these contracts which would have been negotiated well years in advance? And number 3, we've got to talk about the government response. Horrendous.
Poor, mate. Pull the trigger, Scomo. I dare you, bro.
What do you mean pull the trigger?
Dude, pull the trigger. I dare you. Dude, he said he was going to go to the Cronulla game. Why was he not at the Cronulla game? Because he's trying to act cool, bro. He thinks he's cool. You're not cool, dude. You're on the list. Just by the way, he made the list, dude. On Tuesday, he made the list.
What list?
I'll tell you off air, bro. But he's on the list, dude. I'm telling you now.
Oh, right. He made your list.
Oh, he's on my list.
He's on your list.
Gal Gadot, you know where you are. Scomo, welcome to the party, bro.
Gal Gadot may just be my favourite person in Hollywood, just by the way.
Okay, why? No, let's go. That's a good one. Why do you like... She is the biggest media propaganda going around, bro.
Oh.
She did one movie. Why do we know her?
She's done a bunch of movies.
Okay, what movies?
She's done Wonder Woman.
Okay.
She's also done Justice League.
Okay. You can put those together, though.
Two of
two big movies.
Some of the biggest grossing movies of that year, for sure. Lead character, basically. How else do you know? Because she's basically, I reckon, the most attractive woman in Hollywood as well.
Oh, come on, dude. No, she's not. Please.
Gal Gadot.
If
you ask people, so I've heard this before. This is from a guy who I knew. I wouldn't have told this story, but you brought up Gal Gadot. He was telling me that you know how when you're in a relationship and your girlfriend asks you, like when you see someone on screen, do you think she's attractive? Do you think she's attractive? Normally you just say no because you don't want to have like that Barney or that, you think she's, really? Well, I'm surprised. You know, that whole spiel. I thought, I thought better of you, that type of stuff. He said she's the one he makes the exception for. He'll say, no, 100%. If she came over and, started talking, I'd get down on one knee. Like, 100%. Like, she is on a different level.
You really think that?
Yeah. 100%.
See, I think you've been...
Something about it.
I think you've been media infiltrated on that, dude. I think the media got you thinking that. She's Israeli, so, I mean, the media's going to love her. I'm just going to say it, okay? So, and she made that stupid video. Have you seen that video?
No.
Imagine all the people.
Oh, was she part of that?
Oh, she was on that Saturday thing.
Okay.
So she was on my list before that. Oh, good on her.
Good on her. Putting her foot out. Putting her neck out there.
Good.
I'm a huge Gal Gadot fan. I don't think you can talk me out of it. I'd also be keen to hear what everyone else thinks about Gal Gadot.
Put it in the comments.
Yeah, put it in the comments. I reckon there's going to be a lot of support for Gal.
Look, I'm just telling you guys now. Also, click. Do you do the clicking thing?
Yeah.
Click over there and go to episode 5, Carnage House Productions. I was in that one. And also click over there for the last one.
Yeah, true. Well, that's fantastic. Fantastic promotion.
I've always wanted to do that one.
Yeah. Well, we've got our production assistant over there. She's giving us the nod, saying that we can do it. Okay, so you've had before you were telling me Scomo's made a list. So I presume the list is not a place where you want to be.
No.
In fact, might be the last place you want to be. Jason, number 1, what happens to people on the list? Number 2, what has Scomo done wrong in your eyes? A lot of people are upset with Scomo. A lot of it's kind of the standard that a lot of Australians are normally upset with the Prime Minister over a range of issues, sometimes all issues. But what has really really got ground your gears about Scomo?
So I can't answer the first question, unfortunately.
Okay.
What happens on the list? But what I can say about Scomo is this, right? We went to dumplings one time, yeah. And in the dumplings, okay, there was a rapper, a girl rapper,
A live performer.
and in her performance, she went off script and started saying F Scomo, okay? And I remember like going like, why would she say F Scomo in the middle of a thing, like trying to make a political stand, yeah? Bro, if I was that rapper right now, I'd be saying F Scomo right now. That's how much I feel bad about him, because he thinks he's cool. He's trying way too hard to do the Trump. Okay, but Trump's actually taking the more cautious approach in America. He's taking the laid back approach here. If they knew we were supposed to lock down, why did we not lock down sooner?
Yeah.
Why wait until we have to lock it down? It's like going to the doctors, you know?
Yeah.
If you have something growing at the side of your neck, just go now.
Yeah.
Don't wait till it's like you can't sleep to go.
Yeah.
So he's now we have things growing at the side of our head, bro. Okay? And now he wants to go, let's go to the doctor.
Yeah.
But I've been in the waiting room this whole time. You know, I'm waiting for the nurse to come grab me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very disappointed in him. We don't need a government, by the way. Remember the last time you told me we don't need a government? We don't need them.
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, he's in a situation where the state governments are coming to him and saying basically we want to lock down, and he's basically trying to convince them out of it. Constantly. Victoria has come in and basically from the get-go, Daniel Andrews has said we want a total lockdown, and Scomo has been doing his absolute best to try and talk him out of it. Gladys has been pretty hardline. WA is getting there. A lot of people are kind of saying, well, we should have just taken the cost for 2 or 3 weeks, shut the whole joint down, and then just restart it back up again. I mean, if you talking to some people in China, they're saying that basically almost everyone's going back to work. Wuhan, the factories are starting back up. A lot of Chinese are leaving countries like Australia, going back to China because they think it's actually probably not necessarily safer there, but things are going to be moving faster over in China, as well as it's kind of the cases over there of coronavirus have plummeted to almost near zero.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But the Chinese government took the full lockdown approach, as in, locking people inside their own houses, curfew checks, going around, knocking on doors. Like hardcore, like what you would expect of China if they were going to do something like that. Obviously, it would be more difficult to do something like that here. But I assume then basically you're saying you just go hard and go hard early. 100%.
In Jordan, bro, they saw one guy cough, they shut the whole thing down, bro. Everything down, bro. You leave your house, you're getting shot, okay? Because that's how you cure things, dude. You don't just wait for it to get so out of hand. And he's afraid of the economy. Bro, if we're all dead, dude, the economy is going to be really bad. And we're not going to all die. But if there's old people... Oh, and here's what's been really pissing me off, okay? They go endemic, then they go pandemic, then they go now they're making up new things.
Yeah.
Like, kiss your grandma now, because she's not going to make it till next month. Or if you kiss your grandma, she's definitely not going to make it till next month. So then lock it down, dude. Why are we waiting for a next word to be made up for you to lock it down?
Yeah.
So, not sooner rather than later.
Early bird gets the worm.
A bit of that.
Fair enough. There's an argument for it, but it's interesting though because it is a kind of case study on federal government versus state government, which is an interesting thing. And Dukes and I have had a chat about it on air a couple of times. Is that we always wanted to be doing our best to create competition between the states. So that, I mean, you have it in America. America's the best example. People move from California to go to Texas because of the taxes, for example.
Yeah.
The taxes are so substantially different that they will move from state to state. And I think 100% that should be applied here. You should be, the tax rate should be set by the state government. I mean, New South Wales brings in way more revenue, way more taxes than any other state. Victoria's close behind it, and I think it might be Queensland and WA, but basically, we're all kind of hostage to this broad federal government which sets the tax rate, despite the fact that each state has its own particular set of values / infrastructure needs / demographic needs. Like the people moving to the Gold Coast are entirely different to the people who are moving to Sydney or Melbourne.
Yeah.
And so if you create that kind of competition between the states, then it's definitely beneficial for a lot of people. But one of the things that it would allow is that, for example, if you were really, really concerned about the way in which the coronavirus is being handled, you could move to Victoria because it provided you pass the checks, because you think that they're going to be able to sort this out quicker and they're going to be back up and running sooner than all the other states. But because it's a federal thing which kind of commandeers everything, and what happens by Scott's diktat or decree goes, then you kind of, it doesn't really matter where you are. Doesn't matter where you are. If Scott says we're not locking down, we're not locking down. Doesn't matter if Gladys says it. Doesn't matter if Daniel Andrews says it. Doesn't matter if Anastasia Palaszczuk says it. It's like you don't have any choice unless Scotty from marketing says it's time to lock down.
I like Gladys, by the way.
Fan of Gladys, not a fan of Scomo. That's interesting.
I like Gladys. I like her spirit, dude.
She's popular among the ethnic community, I think.
Yeah, I like Gladys.
Where is she? Is she Turkish or Armenian or something? Or
I don't know. She's got a vibe to her, you know. She's on the list, bro.
She's on the list.
No, she's on another list.
She's on.
But dude, I like Gladys. Scomo, you're such a disappointment, bro.
Can he pull himself out of it though? That's the question.
No.
It's beyond repair.
This just showed me his character. This just showed me his character. Like he has no B's or N's. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's got none of them, bro. None.
Right.
He should have pulled the trigger, but why is Gladys out here saying we should go on lockdown, and he's over here saying get a 10-person football match going? Do you see the disconnect?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I see the disconnect, and look, in truth, the federal government was never. Federal government is basically what the idea of the federal government is to be designed to protect, so borders basically, and in ever the case there is a war or something, that's what the federal government there is for. And basically what should be is the state government is basically everything else. That includes health. The state government run all the state hospitals already, so I'm not really sure why it's a federal government choice anyway. Really, the only thing would be the federal government would be saying no more people flying in.
Yeah,
that would be the only thing, or flying out, because that's to do with borders. There you go. Again, I'm kind of ambivalent about it. Like, I mean, so far we've had I think it's 10 or 12 recorded deaths from coronavirus.
Yeah.
Like over the same period of time that we've been talking about, I guarantee there'd be way more deaths from people with heart attacks, smoking, 100%. Car crashes, male suicides, female, domestic violence, whatever.
Yeah. If they did the car crash thing, then no one would be on the roads. They could do the same thing.
Oh, that's the thing. And that's the thing. It's like, if we're going to call this an epidemic or a pandemic, it's like, well, what do you call the amount of people who die on the roads each weekend? Like, we're coming up to Easter weekend, the amount of people who die on the roads is incredible.
Yeah.
It's catastrophic.
Exactly.
But that's kind of, I guess people just say, well, that's just part of the deal.
It's part of the deal. This is why I also think there's coronavirus, and there's like the deeper thing of what's actually going on. Yeah, because for me, for like the NBA to close, for the NRL to look at closing down, for like so many businesses to lose so much money, I'm in the sense that it's a serious thing, and that's why they're closing down.
Yeah.
But then there's this one voice in the back going, what's going on? What's the lockdown? Are they training us so that when we're our parents' age and we have kids, they do a proper lockdown on some like crazy type, like no one leaves, they cut the internet, they cut the TV.
Oh, right.
Could you imagine we're locked down and they cut the internet?
Yeah.
People going mental. But then there's
going mental as it is.
Yeah, exactly. And now there's like cops on the street. If you start leaving your house, they're telling you to get back in.
Yeah.
That's like now lockdown.
Well, I mean, you got to think that in Italy, for example, with the amount of people who are dying, Italy's got more corona deaths than China.
Yeah.
I was talking to a guy, a mate of mine who's living in Italy. He says one of his area has been devastated by the whole thing. It's basically old people and the people who are already sick who are really suffering from it the most. But he says it's quite scary. And the thing is, the line would be so close. Like this would be the exact type of thing that you would see in one of those movies where there is some kind of revolution or some kind of like people's militia being started up. Like it's almost a bit like The Purge. It has that feeling about it. You know the movie.
Yeah.
It's absolute madness. Like, so you have to be absolutely careful when you're managing this type of thing, because people get out of hand. Like you just see in the supermarket, like people go from being civil to animals real quick.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
They flip the switch real quick. Everyone's kind of as far as I can tell, everyone's basically pretending at all times to be civil when in fact really they're just kind of a brute animal.
Yeah.
That's just waiting for an excuse to be let out.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you see some people having actual punch-ons in the Woolworths over toilet paper.
That's in my local, bro.
Really?
That's Chalora.
Oh, really?
That's my local, dude. My mom knows the woman that was trying to break it up. They talk. I swear to God, dude. Like, I'm in that thing. My sister's doctor, because she's a manager at Westmead, my sister's doctor was on the news talking about it. Swear to God, dude. Like, I'm like legit like so into this right now. You know? A woman in my building had corona. That's why my whole building's now shut down.
Yeah.
So I'm in it, dude. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, they're fighting at Woolworths, bro.
Yeah. I mean, just saying the line is so thin.
Yeah. They're animals, dude. They're animals.
Yeah. It's pretty scary to watch. To watch. Basically, we're all pretending. That's my take on it. Is there anything else you want to pass on the coronavirus? I mean, the only thing that I would leave to... Look, I'm you know me, Jason, I'm not one to kind of banter in conspiracy theories or put things out that are unsubstantiated by evidence at all. That's not how I do things. But a lot of people talking about the idea that a guy ate bat soup and this is how it all started.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I would just like to point out, and I'm not trying to connect the dots, I'm not trying to put, words in people's mouth, but if you look at where the level 4 biochemical weapons labs are in China, there's 2, and one of them happens to be in Wuhan, okay? Coincidence? Maybe. You also talk about the lead researcher there. He's a guy who worked in Sydney, and his area of expertise is in coronaviruses, particularly bats. Okay?
Right.
So I'm just saying to you, keep a lookout. I'm not 100% sold that it was a guy eating bat soup who contracted it at a wet animal market and then kind of spread it amongst the population, or that it was some kind of bat who infected a pig, who infected a chicken, which was then passed on to the people. I'm not 100% convinced by it. There's already suggestions that I've heard in the scientific community. That being said, what do I know about science? I can't name them off the top of my head, but I know for a fact that some people have come out and said that from what they can see, that the virus itself has elements which are considered to be, or data points which are considered to be potentially be man-made. Okay, so there is a possibility where you have a top secret bioweapons / biochemical research lab in Wuhan, like of all the places in China to have it, it's in Wuhan. You have a person, the lead researcher there, who happens to be an expert in dealing with coronaviruses, and particularly in bats, and that's what he studied, and he was trained in Sydney as well. You then have an outbreak of a coronavirus, a deadly coronavirus, which some scientists are saying has data points which some people would consider to be man-made. And everyone's kind of going, oh, well, it must have been the guy eating bat soup. So, I don't know. I'm not here to put conspiracy theories out there. You know me, Jason. That's not what I do. That's not what people listen to this show for. However, we should consider that there are a number of circumstances here which look fishy at best.
Very fishy.
We already know that the Chinese government probably didn't tell the entire truth in terms of the amount of cases that they had and when they had it. Chinese government, however, seem to have dealt with it properly, so props to them for that. But I would just say we should keep an open mind with these things, and particularly in the light that, governments tell porkies all the time.
Of course.
This wouldn't be the first time. This certainly wouldn't be the last time that any government, regardless of Western or Oriental in origin, I would just say to people, keep an open mind and keep your ear to the ground with this type of thing, because I guarantee that as this heats up, there's going to be more information that comes to light regarding the actual origins of this virus, and things could get a little bit more intense.
Look, if it's a guy that ate the bat, and that's how they're rolling, okay, shame on you, and you made the list. If it's a guy that just broke it out of the lab by accident,
yeah,
these things happen. If you're dealing with those things and you're taking the risk to deal with that, and you get the disease, and then you go home to your wife, and then she's she's on the side, then that's another thing. Also, I heard, and this is not some Palestinian Israeli thing, I swear to God, but I swear to God, I heard, but I'm Palestinian, guys, watch episode 5, an Israeli guy spread that stuff from Wuhan. One of the doctors there, or the professor, whatever they call him now, a dealer of Corona, started dealing it to people, bro. Essentially, that's what I heard on the side. And I also heard that Russia did it, but that was from my mom, and I don't trust it.
Yeah, those damn Russians meddling in things again.
It could be the Russians. By the way, I have no evidence. You can't research what I say. You just have to internally feel it.
Yeah, we're going off a vibe.
That's all I do. You could give me every single statistic in the book if I don't think, like, going to the moon, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we went to the moon. You could show me an alien here. I don't believe you.
The moon is an interesting one. Someone I was hearing recently was asked, why haven't we been to the moon in like 30 years or 40 years or something? And I think he was talking to one of the astronauts who went up there, and he said because they destroyed all the technology that we needed to get there.
Yeah, I told you this.
Did you tell me that?
Yes, I told you this.
That was you?
Yes. His name is, what's his name? I forgot his name, but I'll comment on this video afterwards. He says, we would go back to the moon in a nanosecond. Unfortunately, we don't have that technology anymore. We destroy that technology, and it's a painful process to get it back up. Okay, that's almost what he said word for word, yeah?
Yeah.
He said that, dude. If you can see that and then still think we went to the moon, if you can think that China's never been, India's never been, Russia's never been, England's never been, Australia's never been, Canada, Germany, I mean, none of these countries have ever been except for America. They haven't been in 50 years. What more do you need just because they told you they went?
Yeah.
No. We didn't go. Nowhere.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Anyway, that was a tangent.
Yeah, but it's an important tangent. I mean, the US spent a lot of money on the space race, and so did the Russians.
Absolutely, yeah.
So did the Russians. I mean, I don't know if it's an actual thing anymore, but people often talk about the video of the person landing on the moon and how the flag's not moving, or the flag's moving. The flag is moving, and there's no wind in space, or whatever it is. Some people say that we did go to the moon, but yes, that footage was doctored, but we did in fact go to the moon, and they just had to make some footage up. That's what I've heard as well. Governments lie. It's a fact. It's a fact. Now, that would be a big one. If they fabricated going to the moon.
Oh, that would be a sexy one, bro. That would be super sexy. If they did that, that's kind of sexy, and I respect it. But you have to come out. You have to come out and say that you did that, though. You can't be hard. Like, if you come out and say we faked it, oh my goodness, respect, bro. Yeah, dude, that's awesome, bro. For me, that's cool. I don't care. But the fact that you're not saying it, the fact that you're still trying to like shop around Buzz, like he's actually been there. He hasn't been there, bro. I've been there, bro. You put me there. So, anyways, how are you, by the way?
I'm good. I'm getting through. Working from home is a different beast, isn't it?
100%.
It's a different beast. But I'm pretty level. I'm meditating. You
really?
know? Yeah. I'm meditating. It keeps me focused in the morning if I can do it. But yeah, we're putting out more content, which is good. Mm-hmm. More higher quality content, and people notice the painting as well. We've got Andy. So people who haven't watched the channel, this might be some of your crew who are operating in kind of Strathfield area. People who don't know the channel, a few of the Moe Don't Worry operators. There's Andy, the youngest. Dougs in the middle, and that's me on the right. Comment you think if it looks like me. I'm not really sure. A lot of people say I've been kind of hard done by with the drawing there, but what do you think?
I thought that was you, and that was Dougs.
No. Ambiguous, but not really.
True.
By the way, if you want one of these paintings, we'll put a link in the description of the person who makes them. How much did this cost you? About $100. $100 for one of these. Takes about a day to make, maybe a couple of days. So that's a good deal.
Very good deal.
Oh dear. Okay, now that should wrap up coronavirus and conspiracy theories for the minute. I think we've got some good stuff there, but. One of our favourite topics we love to talk about, UFC.
100%.
The UFC. UFC, it's the Ultimate Fighting Championship. It is the score to settle all scores. There is no better man that walks out of than the man who walks out of the ring there with his hand held high, victorious. Big one coming up. It's really this fight that they're scheduling, that they have scheduled, is the real UFC fan fight. This is the one all the real hardcore fans want. It's not like a McGregor Diaz with a lot of hype as much, but it is the one. This may just settle who the baddest man in the UFC is, as far as I can tell.
100%.
I don't think John Jones is pound for pound the best fighter anymore. I'll say that hands down. I think he's basically lost his last 2 fights and been saved by the judges.
100%.
But it is Tony Ferguson and Khabib the Eagle Nurmagomedov. It's an incredible matchup. Tony Ferguson is on an incredible win streak. I think it's about 13 wins. I don't think Khabib hasn't lost since he's been in the UFC. One man is going to walk out of there with his hand in the air, victorious. Jason Sarie, who's it going to be and why?
Well, I'll say from the start, I think it's going to be Khabib. I think it's actually going to look a bit underwhelming because it's going to look uncompetitive.
Really?
Actually, yeah. Tony will do a lot of weird things and annoy Khabib. He'll do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But then Khabib's skill will take over him. Like Tony actually, his only thing that he has against Khabib is pace. He gets at a higher pace, but it's still 25 minutes. This isn't to the death. If this fight was to the death, it would be Tony all the way.
Yeah.
Khabib will struggle to finish Tony, but he will look for the finish very early. Like you see what he's doing to Dustin Poirier?
Yeah.
He kept on pulling his chin up.
Yeah.
He kept on like a schoolyard move. He will do that to Tony throughout the whole fight, trying to look for his neck. Tony will be a bit too defensive for it. It will go to decision, 4 rounds to 1 Khabib. But actually, the thing that someone's talking about, if Khabib wins this, he's the greatest of all time. Not lightweights. I'm talking about of all this thing.
Pound for pound?
Pound for pound, greatest of all time, because Demetrius lost to Henry. Anderson Silva's went on the skid. John Jones went on the skid. DC lost to Stipe. This guy will be 29-0. Barely lost a round. He didn't lose his round to McGregor, that 3rd round, whatever people say. And I was the biggest McGregor. I was on McGregor hard for that. I thought McGregor was going to win. So he's won every single round, completely dominated. He's never been cut, never been dropped. He's the greatest of all time in the lightweight division.
The only knock I have on Khabib is he a 2-division champion.
The 2-division champion...
The 2-division champion for me is the thing that sets people apart. Absolutely. I think it's unquestionably. To be able to do it in two divisions says to me that you can go up and down, and it doesn't matter kind of the size differential. You have the skill to be able to dominate enough people. So it's one thing to be able to dominate someone at 155 pounds. But for example... I regard basically Khabib and McGregor on the same level, only on the basis that McGregor is 2 divisions.
For me, McGregor is really, he's still only the featherweight champion to me, because he beat Eddie Alvarez.
He beat Eddie Alvarez in one of the most clinical performances anyone has ever seen.
In a very clinical performance. But then if you look at it like, if he just would have waited one more fight and Khabib gets the Eddie Alvarez fight, Khabib would have completely trashed Eddie, and then he would have done what he did to McGregor. So it's not really like he is double champ, but it's also a lot of politics to be double champ.
Yeah, sure.
And it's also matchups to be a double champ. Like Khabib can't beat Usman, unfortunately. But he would have smashed Robbie Lawler.
You think so?
Oh, he would have Robbie? He would have smashed him. Tyrone, he couldn't take Tyrone. Just the takedown defense, he's too strong. And
Woodley is big as well.
Big. So Usman...
That division is a massive step up in terms of actual size.
No, 100%. 15 pounds.
So even like you look at McGregor and Cerrone, like McGregor, he wiped him, but you could see the size differential between McGregor and Cerrone. But that is every single guy there is Cerrone size. Yeah. And like, and even then you got operators like Darren Till, who's gone up a division, but was in that division. Darren Till is enormous and was fighting in that division. Yeah. Potentially in the same division that Conor McGregor is now fighting at. Yeah. So you look at those type of things. It is that's the reason why to me the 2-division thing is important, is because the size differential you get between two different divisions can be absolutely enormous.
Yeah.
obviously there's politics involved. That's why I like a lot of people have a lot of respect for John Jones. I do, but I cannot call him the GOAT if he doesn't step up to heavyweight and then take out heavyweight. Yeah, he has to.
The reason why
his legacy is on the line
because he can't step up. He can't. He steps up to Francis, Stipe, Curtis Blades even. Curtis Blades will give John Jones a hard time. Curtis Blades can take down John Jones. He knows, dude. Like, that's why he never went up before.
Yeah.
Okay, they would have given him he would have beaten Brock. Remember when that fight was in the picture? And that would have been an amazing fight. John Jones versus
that would have
Brock
been the
Lesnar.
super fight.
That would have been really good. And he would have taken Brock to school.
Yeah.
But, like, Curtis Blade, Francis Ngannou, like, you saw what because Jones is hittable. If you have similar reach, he's very hittable. Like, Gustafsson and Dominic Reyes hit him so many times, right?
Yeah.
With the fists. Thiago didn't have the range, but he could kick him like anything. So if he goes up to Stipe, who's 6'4", Francis is 6'4", Curtis Blades is 6'4", he's in trouble, and he knows that. He'd still beat DC, just due to reach, and he'd beat everyone else apart from that.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I like John Jones. I'm really looking forward to the Khabib and Tony Ferguson fight. I think that's going to be awesome. We had a really disappointing Romero Adesanya card.
Oh, that was so bad.
But the Zhang Wei Li Joanna Jacek fight was incredible.
Oh yeah, that was actually I'd put that in my top. I was talking to my mate about this. If it's a top 5. Yeah. I was talking to my mate if it's a top 5. It just scrapes into like my top 8 maybe.
Yeah.
Of like fights.
And what's your number 1?
Take that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say you could get the bottle.
What's my top 5?
Top fight. Top
my
greatest of all time fight.
My favorite fight. Ooh. You know, I really, really, really like Anderson Silva versus Israel Adesanya. I really like that.
Really?
Fight. I really like. Just because it's so master to student. Like, if any fight, like what Dana said, if any fight would be a kung fu movie, it would be that fight.
Yeah.
Like, if you have to put like master versus student, passing of the guard, just amazingness, it's that fight. But actually, my favorite fight of all time, the one I was probably like going off my nut. I really like Chad Mendes versus Conor McGregor.
Oh, really?
I was jumping on my seat for that.
Yeah.
But what about you?
I like Jones Gustafsson.
Yeah. That's
incredible. Incredible.
Just from the shock factor.
The shock factor, like, all the way, basically. That showed how good Gustafsson actually was.
Yeah.
Like, Gustafsson doesn't get as much credit as I think he should. Like, that was a bad dude.
Mm-hmm.
That was a bad man. Like, to stick it to primetime John Jones like that.
Yeah.
Obviously he comes away as the loser, but Gustafsson basically had all the moves John Jones had.
Yeah.
John Jones just had that 2% more. 2% more, like a little bit more killer instinct, and just a technical finisher, like 2 points higher, basically. But other than that, like, for example, I know for a fact that Gustafsson in that fight could clean that division, light heavyweight, all the way, top to bottom right now. No dramas as well. It was just a problem. He was wrong place, wrong time.
It's like, wrong. Like, see, the thing about John, I don't like John at all, but you can never test his mental.
Yeah.
Him, Tony Ferg, like him and all the Mexican fighters essentially are the toughest in the UFC. Okay? Every Mexican...
Diego Sanchez is an absolute lunatic.
Like his last fight, people were saying like he kind of cheaped it out. He deserves one cheap out because he's done so much for the company. Essentially, any Mexican and John Jones are the toughest people in the UFC. Hands down. Like Kevin Gastelum.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just
a bad man.
That's just Mexican. That's not even tough. That's just a Mexican guy, bro.
Yeah.
That's how they are. That's how they fight. They have huge chins, like Nate Diaz versus Jorge and stuff. You see how many shots he took in the face?
He's got a chin. He's lucky the fight wasn't stopped a couple of times. When I was watching the Jorge Diaz fight, I was like, a couple of times he got absolutely dropped.
Yeah.
And I thought if it was anyone else, because obviously the refs know for a fact that Diaz has an enormous chin and that he wants it to go to the ground so that, like, so when he sits back, he could be totally out.
Yeah.
but they're almost saying like come in because his jiu-jitsu is so good. It looks like he's defending, but there are a couple of times when he got dropped by Hawaii that I thought the ref has to step in here because he's getting cleaned.
No, he was, and it was like the Conor Nate 2 fight. He took much more clean shots, but Nate could still press Conor up against the fence and rest.
Yeah,
he can't push up Jorge. He's a bit too strong.
Yeah.
So every time he's trying to breathe, Jorge was just putting it on him or turning around the clinch, separating and then hitting him more. So it was a bit like they should have stopped it maybe the second round. Remember when he got the overhand right?
Yeah.
The kick to the body.
Yeah.
They should have just stopped it there because that's it. Like he was just getting beat up, pillar to post.
I'm not as big on the hype train as a lot of people about Jorge. I think he's good. But I mean, like he's had a couple of really good finishes. Like you think the Darren Till finished Darren Till. That being said, I don't think that was the best Darren Till people had seen.
No.
Finishes Ben Askren, funky Ben Askren. Now Ben Askren. Again, it's hard to tell whether or not if that fight actually went to 5 rounds, what would have happened. Obviously, we can talk about it. Like he was basically the quickest KO win in UFC history ever. He flying kneed him to the temple. And you were saying as well, I remember talking to you about it, that was one of the moments you were actually scared because the UFC hasn't really had anyone die yet.
No, hasn't anyone died?
And so that's one of the big things about the UFC. It's like boxing's had heaps, right? And boxing is still going. But UFC is still kind of like almost, not like a family event, but people still, are kind of semi-happy to watch guys go to the UFC. As soon as someone dies, it's going to be a game changer.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sold on Jorge Masvidal. I look at Jorge and I go, would he beat Kamaru Usman? I don't think so. Would he beat Tyron Woodley? I don't think so. Would he beat Conor McGregor if Conor McGregor came out? I don't think so. Like, in fairness,
he wouldn't be Kobe either.
If people are still sleeping on Colby,
oh no, I don't know why.
Dude, that guy's a bad man. And if he didn't get knocked out in the 5th round, he would have won that fight on a decision. 100%. Would have been 3-2.
3-2. I mean, I had Kobe up 3-1 going into the 5th.
Yeah.
If he gets dropped and they let the round play out, then it's a tie. That's how I would score it. 10-8 at the 5th, and I gave Usman I think the 3rd.
Yeah.
But Usman's a beast as well. But he's on EPO.
For a fact?
Dude, I'm telling you, like for his body to look the way his body looks, for him to last the way he lasts, for him to still hold power, he still holds power in the 5th. I wouldn't be surprised if Khabib pops. I wouldn't be surprised if Conor McGregor pops. I wouldn't be surprised if Israel Adesanya pops.
Really? Adesanya?
Yeah. Adesanya. The way he put it on the 5th, are you kidding me? Like when I saw him put it on at the 5th, on Kevin Gastelum, like he went sprinting at him in the 5th. Like his output in the 5th round after a war, it's a bit like, you're like, oops, like,
Well, I mean, who's been busted so far? It's been TJ Dillashaw.
TJ Jones. Oh, for EPO only?
EPO only. Not busted. I think it's only TJ.
Yeah, only TJ.
Yeah.
Only TJ.
Yeah. So we got to wait it out. I don't want to, it's a hot take to accuse someone of being on EPO. I mean, the thing I like the least about Kamaru Usman is his chat. He has the worst chat.
The worst banter.
The worst banter.
He's got the smooth,
He's doing this whole smooth criminal thing. Buddy, different spiel, different stick for you. Like, that is not your vibe. 100. Just go for the goofy dork. Like,
yeah. 100. I was so upset because Tyron just came out of his shell when he was going up against Usman, and he had like a lot of quick lines for Usman, and then he gets like completely beaten.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I wanted to swap to? Do you think LeBron James is on steroids?
I don't know. I don't think so. That being said, like, there would be, when you have a certain amount of wealth, and there's like the black market is always ahead of the law enforcement. Okay, they always have to be, right? Otherwise, there's no business for them. So it's like APO is what I reckon a lot of the athletes used like 2 years ago, and then it's kind of the last people to catch on to EPO who get caught. It's always like they're always a couple of months ahead. Like the drug running technology of the cartel is always a couple months or a couple of years ahead of the police. Yeah. That's why they don't get all of it.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't know if they're on EPO. I reckon it's more likely they're on something else. But I don't know about LeBron. He's always been a gifted athlete, so I don't really know.
Hey, look, he's a very gifted athlete. 42 minutes a night, 82 games. I'm just looking at him like, bro, How can someone so big play for so long and
Yeah.
so fit and so like thing, and he's losing his hair, you know? And
He is
Hannibal
losing his hair.
and Hannibal Buress, you know Hannibal Buress?
No.
Hannibal Buress is the guy that came out about the Bill Cosby stuff. So he
Right.
exposed Bill Cosby. Okay?
What's Bill Cosby got to do with LeBron James?
No, exactly. This Hannibal, because Hannibal Buress exposed Bill Cosby. Hannibal Buress on a song says, LeBron James, you need to stop taking HGH. Your hairline's effed up from the HGH.
Oh, really?
So when I heard that, I'm going, oh my God, LeBron James is on HGH, bro. That's human growth hormone, if you know. So that was my first insight to maybe the NBA is full of steroids, and maybe the NFL as well is like full of people on steroids, because the business will take us turn an eye. Like if Tom Brady goes down injured, well, they're not gonna shoot something into his spine, like what they did to Manny Pacquiao before the Floyd Mayweather fight.
Did they actually?
Yeah, they put something into his shoulder. I don't know what it's called, but they essentially he's torn his rotator cuff. But Manny, he fought Floyd without a rotator cuff.
Really?
Legit, dude. You know what the fighters? You know what some of the fighters do? Like, you know how McGregor says, I went to that fight with a broken foot.
Yeah.
Bro, there's some fighters that go like with like serious medical conditions and they get told by every single doctor except for the UFC doctor that you'd be crazy to fight.
Yeah.
But then the UFC said they're medically cleared because it's their doctor that medically cleared them.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of injuries, a lot of things. Hey, Dougie.
It's cooking.